Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I couldn't wait until this live stream. Hopefully everyone is getting in here. The TikTok family, very small family. I'm still growing on Cosmic Mother Ministries on TikTok. Still growing here on YouTube too, but getting the message out. This message is really older uh, than the platform I've created because started from my book, Matriarch the Patriarch. Many of you that follow me or have been rocking with me for a while know about the book, have heard me talk about the book, who have heard me talk about the Great Mother and how it all began. So today we're going to be talking about Gnosticism. So glad to be here. Hi, how you get doing? What's it? Diva Divine. Okay. So today we're going to talk about Gnosticism, and a lot of us, have heard about Gnosticism because Gnosticism is supposed to be the foundation on which Christianity moved away from, and that's not true. They didn't discover anything different than Christianity, and it's a deception. It's a hijacking that's going on. And you're probably saying, Miss Penny, what are you talking about? It's a hijacking. I know that how they make Gnosticism seem to you, but again, we're talking to a bunch of patriarchs. Now we got to look at this from a different perspective. We're looking at a bunch of patriarchs that just started their religion. They just started their religion. Okay, they're just learning about spirituality. That's what's going on here. These men did not have any spiritual organizations or anything like that at first. Only women had those, sciences. They didn't have that. They didn't know anything about the spiritual sciences or the deeper sciences of that matter, because it's all going to begin with the Great Mother. It's all going to begin with women. It's going to always go back to women. That's the core of it. That's the hijacking that's going on here. Okay, so let's go. And I'm going to show you because we're going to break it down. Now, if you're in our Cosmic Mother Ministries, you already got the book on Gnosticism. You've already, I think it's two resources that I give you on Gnosticism so you can see, match what I'm saying. And when you go into those books and look at them, you see it matches up. They're telling you a story. Yeah, they're telling you a story about how Christianity got away from the true God. They're telling you this story, but that's deception. You got some more hijacking and deception that's going on here. That's what's happening here. Hey, Ayeli. So again, you got some more deception and hijacking and going on in here. And so I'm gonna break this down. What is Gnosticism? They said it started in the Middle East. Again, you're seeing it happen in Syria and Egypt. It is characterized by dualistic cosmology, which views material as evil and the divine as higher reality. They said that. They made duality. There was no duality. Are you hearing what I'm saying here? But are we comprehending what we're reading? I don't think we do. There was no duality until these people come in here. These men got together. Who's doing all this? Most of them are men. And I'm just gonna get it, as I move on with this, it's gonna give you more and more insight. So you're gonna be able to break the programming because the programming started with them. You're gonna learn where did they get all this knowledge from? It be coming from the same sources. I traces it. Where did it come from? Where did they get it from? That's why I always ask when I see a man lips moving, talking about humanity, spirituality. I always ask, where did you get that from? It never fails. It goes back to a woman every time. Every time. And then they'll proceed to talk about themselves. Oh, it's so uh, like they the center of the universe and everything but that. Everything but that. I'm not trying to bash y'all men, but I got to, the brainwashing is so deep. I have to come here today and talk to my sisters like that because the situation that we're in right now, we need each other more than anything. We need to be stepping away from you as much as possible, as far as away from you as we can. Because quite frankly, you are sick. Some of you. Is all of you like that? No. But it's great many of you that's like that. And I think they censoring me on TikTok too. TikTok got me kind of censored. They've been censoring me. So I probably won't go nowhere on this TikTok platform. Because they have been censoring me. Okay? So this is what's been going on. A hijacking has been going on. And our sisters need to know, because the spell is being broken. And it's accelerating. We're waking up at an accelerated rate. Okay? Every day, more of us are waking up. We need more because we are out organized. And it's time to start building the world that we had, not with them, with us. That's why I'm here. So we can build a world with each other and not with them. Out of it. Don't even think about it. Don't even go up what he got going on. Because it's raggedy. Don't nobody want that. We are smart enough and more intelligent enough to build a new world right there in front of them and cut it off, because it's going to have to cut off. You're going to have to show them, because their numbers are already, dwindling. And the Y chromosome, they were never meant to be here this long. I'm not making it up. You go look at the science. I don't have to make anything up. I'm not preaching any type of hate. And if the men, if you're XY chromosome, then you need to do your work to preserve your genetics. This is imperative. It's not optional at all. This is what the great mother, your so-called God, said. And you can keep playing, but our job is to get back, get back organized and raise these children, if we're going to have some, up under our authority and not yours. Creating a world like that right there in front of your faces. Ain't nobody going to keep arguing you, and nothing is more powerful than the womb. I don't care how many muscles you got. I don't care what you push down. I don't care. Nothing is more powerful than the womb. You ain't going to win. I don't care how many people you punch. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care, how many weapons you have, or how tough you think you cannot beat the womb, sir. XY chromosome. And you know that. The emotions that move through me with the way y'all done committed these femicide on us. And want permission to do it. God, I do not want to get too emotional up here. You are setting up a society where it's okay to do it, where you want to normalize it. And I got to stand here today and help my sisters understand how deep this programming go, what you done to us, and still trying to do with your raggedy self. You want to normalize putting trauma on women and children and want us to like it. The emotions that move through me, the anger that grips me when I talk about this. You raggedy joker, you. You ain't never been able to win in this fight. You ain't gonna win now. And you keep playing, you will go extinct. We will make sure you cease to exist. If you don't have no people here, you ain't got nobody to hurt. That ain't gonna work. None of your world work without us. You're trying it with the clones, but you're finding out that don't work the way you want it to. We will shut it down. And I invite all women, not just in my community, globally. Look at them. Is all of them like that? Probably not, but there's too many like that. That made this okay to do this to women and children everywhere around the world. Is something wrong with you? We better get busy. Don't talk to him no more. Now ain't nobody talking to you no more. We're going to get over here and we're going to protect our children and our women. Women get away from you. We're going to get away from you because something's the matter with you. And you men talking about not all of us like that. Well, you better do something with the ones that's like that, or you won't be getting nothing from nobody. Not from us. Not from us. You won't be getting nothing from us. I mean that. As long as I'm breathing breath, I'm going to be saying this to you. Because you think we're somebody to play with. We ain't your play pretty. And you ain't going to see it until you start dwindling. Until ain't nobody talking to you, want to look at you nothing, until you're among yourselves. Then it is a minute we talk like this, we hurt. All of y'all ain't like that. We're too emotional. We have sat back and watched you abuse us and do all sorts of atrocities against us for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And then the minute that we say something and we protest to it, something wrong with us. Is any women in here feeling what I'm saying? Is the cosmic being, the original cosmic being? Are y'all hearing what I'm saying to you? Do you understand what I'm saying? What is happening to us? Put yes in the comments, please. If you understand what's happening to us, do you get what's happening? Do you see the writing on the wall? Put yes in the comments. Because I don't think y'all see it. I don't think you see that. This happening. They making it normalized. They're going to normalize this. This is going to be the standard, the global standard for our women and children. This is going to be the global standards. And some of the men going to go along with it. This is what they telling you. This is very. That's what they tell. They want to. They want to. The right. This is how they want to do. They want to get down with the perversion. They want you to be okay with the perversion. They want a right to be able to. You heard what they said. They're eating children. You heard what I'm saying to you. They want to be able to do all these kind of perversions to women and children without accountability. You be okay with it. You give your children over them, and this is what they putting down. Now, if you don't see that, I got to come here and break this down, and especially you women that sit up in that church. Y'all are our biggest enemy. You don't even know. You know. You don't know that you don't even know. You are biggest. You need to get up out of there. You need to get up out of there. I'm telling you that now. You need to get you a woman God or something. You got to get you a woman God because the damn show ain't no man. They didn't desensitize you and got you looking at them like they can do anything for to you by making God a man. What he say go. You don't know the urgency for you to bust a move right now. It's just time for you to bust a move. It's time for you to move around, cosmic being. Because he don't got nothing that you need. I assure you of that. I assure you of that. Not right now. They got to do some work. They have to do some work. They have to do their own work while we go over here and remember who the hell we is. I'm not trying to bash anyone, but this is the reality of what we're looking at today. Because if there was any of them good, it wouldn't have made it this far. So it can't be many good of them, many of them that's good because it's made it this far. Let's keep it real now. And the ones that is trying to talk, they get attacked. The men ain't listening to them. Let me move on and get off my soapbox. But that's what's going on. That's what's happening here. If women don't get in the community, you don't start building your own world and stop begging him to do something for you. Oh, he gonna do something for you, all right. It ain't gonna be what you want. You better start building something and getting away from them. Building a society to protect it, building a world to protect your children if you're gonna have some. But you can't be up under his authority. Because he already let you know he wanna own you and your child. He already told you what it is. Then trying to make it law. We already talked about this. Let me go on down here. So again, they're bringing this duality in here. The sects within the tradition include the Archontics, the Bardanites, and other, each with its own set of beliefs and practices. So they let you know there was a number of Gnostics. There were different types of Gnostics. Yeah. It wasn't just one big, it wasn't just a lot of people in the same having the same type of intentions and ideology. Some of them had their different ideologies and opinions, just like you have different sects of Christianity, different denominations of Christianity. Yeah, these are the roots that they're watering for this subversion and inversion religions they're getting ready to create and force up upon women and children. That's what the Gnostics is doing. You think that's not what they're doing? Let's move on. Who are the archons? I know a lot of people say these archons are evil things and their energies and this and this and that. They're telling you the archons, they put the archons, is working for the Demiurge. Remember that? Anybody know this story about the Demiurge? Because we're still on the Demiurge. We're still on Gnosticism. We're getting into their cosmology and their idea about how this great spirit moves and what's going on, how we are where we are today. Their explanation of it. That's what we're going into right now. The archons. Who are the archons? The archons operate through written rules, frozen interpretation, and enforced narratives that claim divine authority while cutting people off from direct experience. It's paper. That's why you see Thoth and Hermes get so much recognition. They created the archives, the archon, these pieces of papers that says, this piece of paper, what I wrote is law. These are our rules and hierarchy. That's how men got power. It's not on the inside of him. Because our laws, we got cosmic law, universal law is written on the outside of us. But what did he do? He wrote these made up rules and ideas to control the material world. Because nothing that doesn't, he doesn't have that inside of him. Whatever you got on the inside of you, he put it on paper and he manipulated it. XX chromosome, you didn't have to write anything down because it was already written in you, and he had to study you to down write down what he was trying to understand and manipulate and put himself in it. See, we didn't have to write anything down because it was everything. You are the flower of life. Everything was written in you. He's getting credit for writing things down. What is Thoth and Hermes giving credit for? For writing, manipulating, witchcraft, playing with people's mind. What do men, when you ask him why he's superior to woman, what would he say? I'm more logical. He's far from that. He's going to stick to thinking he's more intelligent and more smart than anyone. Where is this coming from? This is coming from Hermetics. This is coming from Thoth. And you'll see a lot of these brothers going to Luciferian. Still, an occult sciences based on Hermeticism. It's the Baphomet. When we already know this comes from the divine feminine, why you got to serve something that look like a goat and all that type of stuff? That's not the original divine. That's not the original. No, cosmic spirit. That's not the great spirit. It's something that again these men have made up. The beast. He is the beast, like a roaring lion, stealing, killing, and destroying. That's what. Is he not doing it? Correct me, stop me when I'm wrong. You're looking for a devil. You're already living with him. What you're talking about. So archons is these pieces of paper. This stuff when he learned how to write. When he learned how to, hey, I'm going to interpret what's on the inside of her. I have this great idea. I'm going to talk to her and I'm going to follow them. I'm going to observe them and see what they got on the inside of us. And then we're going to put ourselves in the middle of it and make ourselves important too. She can't be the only one's important. She can't be the only one embodying this energy, but she is. And you're going to have to deal with it. You don't like it. That you ain't the center of the universe, but it's a fact, Jack. Somebody got to talk to you like this. I'm not finna play with you. And you ain't did no woman. You ain't come from no woman. You ain't come from no man or none of that. And then you're bound down to each other. You created this Jesus trying to take the divine feminine title. You created this Jesus and you bow down in front of a man with your mouth open. And then what you think gonna happen? What you think gonna happen if you bow down to a man on your knees with your mouth open? What you think gonna happen? I ain't gotta say it. You know what's gonna happen. You supposed to be bound down with to a woman with your mouth open, so she can give you some living waters and you can have some type of sense in your head. That's what you supposed to be doing. You thought we trying to tell y'all you're not smart, but you want to be in the center of everything. And the only thing you did is perverted stuff with your lack of understanding, leaning into your own understanding. You leaned into it. Oh, baby, when you read that Bible from a divine feminine perspective, I suggest you women, when you read that Bible, look at it from a woman perspective because she's talking to these men. That's what's going on there. Steady telling you, but you're hard headed. You think you run something, and you don't. You don't. Tried to tell you that, and you still hard headed. Some of you fighting, some of you will hurt us and unalive us for saying this. Argue us down, knowing it's no scientific proof that you got any of those abilities. We've showed you over and over and over and over again. I ain't never seen it. It's almost. I think you guys' patriarchy is worse than a racism. Patriarchal racism than racism. It's a cover up for racism. I'm telling you. I ain't never seen nobody that's hard of understanding when you start talking to a man. It you know, at least with racism, you'll probably get more shifts with that. With patriarchy, these men ain't budging. They want to do this. They want to get all the way down with this with you and want you to like it. And then you got some of the women that drink the Kool-Aid. She just hate men. You ain't when you take yourself, girl, go over there with him then. Go on over there with him. You ain't gonna see nothing but an early grave. That's all you gonna see. Go on over there with him. The ones you want to judge us, because we already had experiences with them. Especially the women, your aunties, and they, the Gen X. We already know. So we can speak from experience. So get yourself somewhere and sit down. Some of y'all tolerating the regular behavior and then get mad at us when we call it out. Some of you pick-me's. You better listen to what we're saying, because you ain't got time to be testing the waters and finding out. Some of you, I recommend that you listen to your elders. Listen to what we're telling you. Ain't nobody sitting up here, ain't nobody got to sit up here and lie to you and convince you. You keep on. Usually that don't end too well for you anyway. Because his mind is not right. He's sick. They've been sick like this for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. You think this is going to happen overnight, that they get their mind right? Absolutely not. That's not going to happen overnight. You actually have to take stuff from them. You have to let them get a little suffering. It ain't going to hurt them. The only thing it's going to do, it's going to probably help him see the light. And if it do hurt him, he hurting himself. He hurt his own self. And not to say we don't love you. Nobody saying we don't love the men. We love them. But just because I love you, I'm not going to let you hurt me. I'm not going to let you hurt me. Matter of fact, I'm going to get away from you till you get your mind together. Because I love me. I love me more than I love you. See, that's the problem. A lot of codependency going on. They got us hooked on codependency and stuff. Okay, so they got these archons that have made these rules. Once something is written down, it's declared final, guarded by the institutions. It is no longer needs truth to survive. It only needs compliance. Ain't that what they done to us? That's what these laws and rules and stuff is. Man wrote that down. Woman didn't have to write down anything because she was cosmic law in the flesh. Divine authority flowed through her. Oh, he didn't like it because he had to come to you about everything because you had all the knowledge. Wasn't nothing written down. It was already in you. You were very peculiar to him. He had to find out, how do you have all this power? How do you have all this access? We got to get something like there, y'all. We got to get something like them. Now, if you ask me, I'm looking at this XY chromosome scientifically. I take my emotions out of it at the point, because when you look at the scientific evidence, I think that's where people get emotional, and then you start disassociating. But if you look at the XY chromosome, it brings up more questions for me. How long they've been here on this planet? Are they even from this planet? They talk about their DNA being tweaked. These are questions that women need to be asking themselves, because we know the DNA, again, is going extinct, and they always have an urge to, again, reproduce. And they get violent when they're not in constant contact with women. They get more violent, more self-destructive. And then when you're with them, again, you have to constantly tame them from being self-destructive, most of them, if you can at all. I know that's right. Okay. So they have had time to think about you. They know exactly who you are, woman. They know exactly who you are, woman. They know exactly who you are. Don't you think they don't know? If they didn't know, why they trying so bad to control you? Why they knowing that this is the hijacking that's going on? He to hijack your whole science, your whole spiritual heritage, and turn it into something raggedy and ugly, into subversion. He calls on the God that loves to sacrifice women and children. Let's move on here. That's what it is. I'm going to give it to you in a raw. I'm not going to play with you no more because you need to hear it. Even you Christians sitting up there, that's the God y'all serve. You're going to see a lot of perversion going on in the church with children and women and children. Why? Why you think they took Freemasonry in the church? Because they was doing that in Freemasons. They took that in their church. They took hoodoo out the church so they can have the opportunity to really set that up in these churches. They can set up the perversion and all that stuff. And then you got these men going, these Freemasons, bound down to a man with their mouth open. I'm going to say that again, what you think gonna happen. What you think subconscious is what you telling yourself. Your patriarchy is cooked. It's cooked. There's nowhere around it. You're gonna go extend because Great Mother is moving us to close our legs, to close that portal up, to shut that portal down. You're gonna go extend. You see what's happening over there in Korea? They said they don't care if they're not finna birth children in the world that's gonna one day oppress them. They're not. I don't blame them. We brought you in this world, we will take you out. I don't blame them. I think we're gonna all get that same idea. I think it's good for us to all get that same idea and do the same thing. Since y'all think it's okay and want us to stand by while y'all hurt the children that we birthed into the world and then want to make us do it. We're gonna show you how powerful this womb is since you think it's a game. Keep thinking it's a game. Keep thinking fat meat ain't greasy. Keep thinking that we won't shut it down. We want you to keep that in your head. I want you to see it shut down while you think this womb is weak. Because if it's weak, you wouldn't even be here. The emotions that come over me. And even looking at the science, you showing you the science how raggedy your DNA is. We're showing you the psychology how raggedy your DNA is. But you still want to lead and tell somebody what to do. If that ain't, that's scary. Thank you. Okay, so let's move on here. So they creating this false power for themselves that lives in paper. Remember, they wrote this book too. They love to take it. That right there was the hijacking. They had to have something, a piece of paper to brainwash you. That's what thought. That's what thought and hermetics is all about. Oh, I got this paper now. I can manipulate their mind. What does it focus on? The intellect. How does his magic work? Through his intellect. What is he doing? Manipulation. Now you stop me when you think I'm lying. You're seeing it for yourself. In the late antiquity, some variants of Gnosticism used terms of archon to refer to several servants of the Demiurge. And most of these servants, what do they do? They're really looking after the archives, like the Pope sitting on all the archives, sitting on all that information. They have, again, they are the archons. If it was a such thing as a devil and the demon in the spirit world, they are it in the flesh. That's who they is. And they aim to keep hurting our women. They aim to keep hurting us like this. They gonna make it okay. Please excuse me. Ancestors, help me. Because it's passion and it's righteous anger, because it is righteous, because they've been doing this to us for tens and thousands of years. This is some of the trauma we got to unpack. We got Stockholm syndrome. We love our abusers. Women got so much to unpack. We think we got to impress you when you raggedy. Getting butt jobs, boob jobs, lip jobs for your raggedy self. Don't mount to a hill of beans. Mine just is squash. Ain't nothing in there. And we trying to impress you for what? You got somebody up there wearing a pamper trying to tell somebody what to do. God, why we in this world? You know, I got to stop. Whew. Help me. Help me, great mother. Help me. Help me, help me, help me, help me, help me. It's too much for women. It's too much. It's too much. We don't deserve that. The way we done build, talk about he built something. You wouldn't build another. The world wouldn't even be here without us. I always be, I'm doing this. You ain't doing shit. I'm tired of y'all talking. I wish every time I hear you talking about women, talking about spirituality, I wish your mouth would permanently, your lips would permanently get stuck together. Just be quiet. I'm sick of hearing you talk. Your podcast brothers, just be quiet. Listen. Listen to your raggedness, and then don't want to look at your raggedy stuff. It's more interesting when we look at the philosophies and the ideologies of molding spiritual beliefs. They are being influenced by Greek patriarchs. This is not a revealing of the true understanding of God. It was a redefining of gender washing for the patriarchs. So when they going in, these Gnostics, because who are these Gnostics? You're going to find out that these Gnostics are, again, are great philosophers, many of them. They're helping these men form these messed up, jacked up ideologies about nature, about the universe. Let's move on. The Nag Hammadi Library is a collection of early Christian and Gnostic texts discovered near the upper Egyptian town of Hammadi. The writings in these codices comprise of 52 mostly Gnostic treatises, but also 3 works belonging to the Corpus Hermeticum. Again, we're talking about Hermeticism now. What we're talking about, we're talking, when we're looking at Hermeticus, we're looking at the patriarchs. That's why you're going to hear him come up. He's a representation of men's raggedy thinking. I'm going to say it just like that, because ain't nothing good about him. I don't care about them damn emerald tablets. It's a whole bunch of damn manipulation. And you're going to warp people's mind. That's why people go crazy looking at that. Because that's not original. That's not from the great mother. This is some raggedy man doing stuff. You can get mad at me. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn about your feelings. Anytime man touching something, you better put that shit down. Anytime he done created something, you better put it down. Because it's probably more than likely it's raggedy. Especially if you're a woman. Leave it alone. That ain't yours. That's some raggedy stuff that he done made up. Just like these different occult practices leading to the same thing. Serving Yardabath, the Demiurge, the Moloch. You done just perverted all the spiritual sciences because you raggedy. You are the beast. You have the nature of the beast with your raggedy self. I ain't lying. Then talk about a devil. They had to create that duality because they know that's the only part that they can access. They wanted to cut off the divine mother, draw out the X chromosome. That all this is in they sight too. They didn't want that in there. They knew they was part of the great mother. So what did they create? This demiurge. Let's move on. The Greek writings are attributed to the Hermes Trismegistus. I might pronounce that wrong. You guys know I'm not the best pronouncer. Blending philosophy, spirituality, practical wisdom, significantly influencing Western esotericism and the Renaissance style. And a partial translation and alteration of Plato's Republic. So now we got Plato's ideology in Gnosticism. We're gonna break it on down today to show you how these folks is and how they try to hide stuff and make themselves look good. Try to make you seem like man is God and he is the opposite of God. He is the adversary. He is toting the adversary. He has chose to embody this adversary type of energy. You have chose to blaspheme against the great mother, the true divine God, the great spirit. You have chosen to do that. You are in opposition of cosmic and universal law. That is a world that you have created for you when you thought you was going to create a hierarchy. You are the fallen one from heaven that's trying to mock God. You are the one who took what they say, and some of the fifth of the angels or whatever fell with them. You are that. The fuck you mean? That's you. It makes sense when you apply it where it needs to go. When you apply it where it needs to go, does it make sense to you now? But he making you think this stuff happened far, far away, or down in a hell, or something like this. When he created this is his hell on earth that he created, and got you thinking it's something in the sky outside of you, when it's really him with this paper and all this kind of stuff. This is what's going on here. The Republic is a foundational philosophical text by Plato that explores justice, the ideal state, and the role of the philosopher king, significantly influencing Western political thought. When Greek philosophers traveled, especially to Egypt, they encountered libraries, temples, priesthoods that already held astronomical records thousands of years old. Okay? And even when they were in Egypt, and that wasn't the name of it, there was a matriarchal culture. When these men start overthrowing and dominating it, and we had our civil war, men overthrew women. There's a lot of being omitted about that. Because see, they'll talk about these other stuff in history, but nobody want to talk about what happened to women and children. They'll act like it don't happen, just like they doing right now, y'all. This is what they did to us. Just like they said in that Bible, you see these women and children there. These men steady focus on themselves, like the genocide of women and children is not happening in that Bible. That's what's going on in that Bible. That's what's happening in that Bible. They normalizing it. Go back and look and see, who they conquering there, who doing what to who got more authority over who. Go back and look at that. He don't embody that. That's what you do. That's what's going on there. But what he had others, let me go on here. Okay, so Plato studying in Egypt, it was well attested. So he studied all this stuff. He had a lot of these ideologies. He would have knew all this knowledge. He would have known the truth. But they have to study the truth and then warp it and put themselves on the inside of it. That's what happens. Oh, she is center of the universe. Let's see where she at. How she got this set up. This gonna tell us how we need to set our stuff up. Let's sit there and talk to them. Let's look, because most of them, they didn't understand it. They were, and us women, some of us being held a captive, a kidnap, and they calling us muses. You'll see us hidden under that too, under their mythology. But we're talking to them and they're writing stuff down. So now, because they know how to write. So you wouldn't have to write this down because this was already inside you. We had to write very little down because we came with this knowledge. Women came with this knowledge with us. Because we connected again to, we originally connected to Earth and to the cosmos. They are not. That's why we have intuition. That's why we got a moon cycle. We are the flower of life. Got you looking on the outside of you while he copying stuff on paper. Got you looking at the paper, and all this is on the inside of you. He making up stuff. And then tell you when your intuition and stuff come up and you trust it, then he tell you crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. And you be right on target too, but he steady calling you crazy. You having fits and fevers and stuff. Something wrong with you. How could you know this? You ain't got to see it to know it. You are the knowing, and they're gonna tell you Gnostic is knowing. What? See, he telling you he stole this from somebody he knew that knew it. And then he gonna claim authorship of it. Yeah, you did get it from somebody who knew. And you gotta learn. Because if you knew it already on the inside of you, why you have to write it down? I don't, what I think about the persecution of the firstborn sons too. Is there any significance? That makes sense on the spiritual level because when it used to be a time when you had an XY chromosome, there was a high risk, a high death risk with him because a lot of XY chromosome babies wouldn't live that long. You had more crib deaths with them. They were more sickly. Their genetics, that's why I asked too, XY chromosome, how long you been here? Are you even supposed to be here? Because especially if nature is if you're going extinct, your genetics would never set up to be here, uh, long term. Your genetics would never set up to be here long term, and that's true. Kind of understand it's something innately in you that you know that's why you act the way you do. I believe that. I believe that's deep down inside you know that's why you do raggedy stuff. That's why you hurry up and try to reproduce and put your seed in people and stuff like that. You're self-destructive and all that sort of stuff. Without coming in contact with the cosmic being, the XX chromosome, you wouldn't be here long. Y'all life force, y'all have to live off our life force because your life force is not stable. Your whole genetics and stuff, everything about you is again, it's inferior, so it's not stable. I'm not making this up. You go look at it at your own. I know you don't want to see that. We're not, you can preserve it if you get somewhere and sit down and start worshiping women. You don't want to do that. Y'all don't want to worship each other and abuse us. Y'all want to peacock and show up for each other, impress each other, and then come back and abuse us. You might as well be with each other. And you don't need us because y'all trying to impress each other. Love on each other then. That's what's happening. Love on each other because you don't need us. Okay? So again, you have them doing this. There again, but what he and others brought back was not priestess science as it existed. They brought back concepts stripped of their ritual and maternal grounding. The living cosmology became an abstract principle. Let's talk about Socrates because Socrates again is behind this development. You have all this is why they hold Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. This is why most of these philosophers are getting a lot of recognition. Why are they getting a lot of recognition? Because they helped them form these ideologies. And these men were not smart. These men was dumber than a bag of rocks. They ain't smart because all of them were learning from women. This is what they keep away from you. All these philosophers are learning from divine feminine women. There were wisdom keepers, elders. Some of them call them, they like to call them under the name Moses, Sophia. That's what they're getting it from. Socrates' philosophy method attributed to him dialectic, privileging Rational inquiry over embodied or ritual knowledge opened the door for hierarchy of knowing. Remember, they came up with the age of reason and logic. See, this is the age of science. This is the man coming up with this. He want to intellectualize everything because he don't know nothing. They just learning what we already have on the inside of us. Now they want to put it on some paper to prove that it all came from them. That's what the paper for. Okay, to prove that he the God and it's coming from him. Once reason is elevated above and live and cyclical bodily wisdom, you have the beginning of a split. They split it. They took it out of the woman. Now you're going to put it on the material world and you're going to use it as a weapon to hurt people. Socrates didn't finish that split, but he made it philosophically respectable. Socrates learned from a woman. Her name was Aspasia of Maltus, or Diotima of I'm going to say it wrong, Matinea, has been a topic of scholarly inquiry, with some suggesting that these figures were based on real historical, these are real women, okay? They were learning from these women. They don't like giving them a lot of recognition. They go right into giving Socrates and Plato and all them recognition, when in actuality, they're going to a much older species to learn this, which is the cosmic being, the woman, the XX chromosome. You'll see this in their occult writing too. Even in their occult writing, they're going through all this stuff just get to the divine feminine. They even created this Luciferian Baphomet looking like a goat and all that stuff with breasts and all this stuff. It's a perversion. You ain't got to do that. All you got to do is bow down to a woman, but you got to come up with goat heads and hurt babies and women and all that just to blaspheme and not bow down to a woman. Ain't that this goes deep? But then you want to spend your life getting back in there, chasing, trying to get back in her womb. But you're gonna avoid bowing down and worshiping her. When that's the first image of God you see on earth, is an image of a woman everybody worshiping. Not no Jesus, not no man, not no phallic. You're gonna see a black woman. Everybody worshiping. That's why you see in the Catholic Church, a lot of them don't pray to no Jesus, they pray to Mary. You got people in that Catholic Church that's never prayed to Jesus. They only pray to Mary. They pray about her abilities to do things. They know they could not wipe that out. See, even they church, if they took all they took Mary out the church, that Catholic Church will crumble right now. They can't take her out, but they want you focused on their Jesus. They want you focused on their Jesus. I'm so sorry that happened to you. Okay, they want you focused on this Jesus, this man. But you got some people, they could not wipe that out of their memory. Cannot take Mary out the church. Matter of fact, this doesn't work without Mary. That's what everybody be missing. This doesn't work without Mary. Their religion don't work without a woman. Even though they telling you in the beginning, that's why they come out with the beginning. If God had been creating, let's stop there. If God had been creating, he created woman from man's rib. Well, why the hell he didn't do the same thing to create his son? Why didn't he do the same thing to create his son? You're going to use a different method to create Adam than you did to create your son. Come on now. Let's stop it with the shucking and jiving. Okay? He's letting you know what's hijacking going on here. You got somebody up in here touching stuff and messing with stuff that don't understand it, but trying to put themselves in the middle of it. But it don't make sense. And then when you question it, especially in the Christian church, in his religion, he gets mad. Now you a witch. That's what that witch hunt thing is about. They didn't want women practicing their own spirituality or their own sciences. They want you following their church. The horrible things that they did to women and made it legal. Getting ready to do that again. It's coming. Getting ready to do it again. They're gonna get you back in that because the religion is the first programming for women. All that was practiced on women before it was practiced, to practice other ideologies such as systemic racism and all that. But they already had the systemic sexism already in there. It's systemic sexism. It already got in there. Everybody focus on systemic racism, but systemic sexism is a lot bigger than racism. That's the matter of fact, that is the mother and the father of racism. It's sexism, genderism. Everything comes from that. All that raggedy stuff that he started because of his greed and all that. It was okay. We fight with each other. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it where we're on the top and the black man is on the bottom. But I have to tell the black man, you started it first with the patriarchy. Yes, you did. Don't nobody want to hear that too. It didn't begin with him. It started with you, and then he copied you. And all of y'all got in there together. Y'all was doing okay until greed set in, and then bam, racism happened. Cause all y'all do the same rags. Most of y'all do the same ragged stuff. No matter what culture you're from, most of y'all think alike. It's crazy. It's almost like y'all know each other. Y'all in different parts of the world. Because we say having the same women, no matter what color or how we look, we all got the same story about y'all raggedy self. We do. And it's because of social media we're able to talk to each other and compare our stories. And we're like, damn, how we in different areas and having the same experience, some of us. It's in that it with Korea. These patriarchal ideologies and views. Y'all seem to, hold them very tight and share them globally. Most of you. Most of you. Yeah, it's colonizing. Yeah, they read the Bible because the eyes are, you don't know what you're reading. You don't know what you're looking at. And the churches, nothing going to do. The churches that you see, many of them are nothing but brainwashing centers. That's what they are. You think it's a church. No, you're going to get your brain scrambled. That's what's going on. It's a man in front of you telling you that this man God is saying that what they're doing is scrambling your brain. And again, it keeps you in compliance with a lot of this programming. They're scrambling your brain. That's really what that's going on there. Plato is where the real pivot happens. Plato formalized the idea that truth exists in the higher invisible realm. So now he got you looking outside yourself. Okay, see where this big pie in the sky come from? And that the material world is a shadow of the imitation of something more perfect. Again, does not understand that. Does not understand that as above, so below. So now he's creating a duality. Okay, now it's shadows because again they don't understand this science. They're interpreted in a way with their limited understanding. But if you don't have this type of cosmology or this type of knowledge inside you, you're just speculating. This is the philosophical ancestor of both Gnosticism and later Christian theology. When Gnostics talk about pleroma, fullness versus the flawed material world, they are speaking of the Platonic language. So a lot of this is coming from Plato. This is why they're giving all these philosophers all this recognition. The unconscious are friends with the unconscious. The conscious are the straight and narrow, and the path that few that find it. This is crucial. Once reality itself is downgraded and embodiment becomes suspect. And when embodiment becomes suspect, the divine feminine, whose wisdom is inseparable from the body, earth, and cycles and generations, loses authority by default. Because all of this is on the inside of us. We had a moon cycle. We knew there was 13 moons. The calendar and everything, the cosmology was already set up. Plato didn't attack women directly, but his form versus matter. So now he's separating matter from the spirit. And those were two in the same. They were not separated. And then they made matter evil. When there was a beautiful thing coming into physical form, into the patriarchs got their hand on it and made it look ugly. Okay? They start making that look ugly. Okay? Dang, I thought I got this thing right. Lord, honey. Come on now. Okay. Got to fix. Okay? Churches are nothing more than pimps for the state. I call them brainwashing centers. I mean, they're big brainwashing centers. They forgot. I don't know what they got going on in there, but that ain't it. Plato didn't attack women directly, so he came up with this form versus matter hierarchy. Did the work for a patriarchy. Wisdom moves upward, bodies move downward. Knowledge becomes something you escape into, not something you live through. So that again, and you'll see that in the cult too. That's why they're going in them Freemasonry lodges. They're going in to study this because they don't have it in them. They got to go in and do all sorts of rituals and study all this stuff, memorize it, and then do all these rituals. They put it all on paper. That's what they're doing in these occult societies, many of them. They got their own books, they got their own way of studying this. Okay? They don't want you looking on the inside of you. They don't want that. They want you to look at what they're telling you. They want to tell you how to think. That's why the book, that's why the paper, they want you looking at this paper. They want to explain to you how but really if you put that down, especially women, and you listen to your intuition, that's what the power is. Okay? But a lot of us, that's they don't want you doing that. They want you following their rules. Even they want you to listen to them. Okay? This is why Gnosticism could preserve feminine figures like Sophia and Barbela while still devaluing the world women inhabit. Plato gave them the conceptual scaffolding. Aristotle takes this even further, but in a different direction. Aristotle presents a more complex relationship with the contribution of women. While his writings often reflect relegating women to subordinate roles, he was not entirely immune to their influence. Because again, he was influenced by Pythias. Pythias, Aristotle's first wife, was reputedly a philosopher in her own right. So I'm sure that Aristotle learned from her. So they're not gonna tell you that. That's when they go to talking and talking about that. I be like, I wonder who he learned from. I wonder where he learned that from. But he's not giving her any credit. Okay? Though little is known about her work, it is reasonable to infer that she contributed to Aristotle's thinking, particularly in the areas related to biology, ethics, where he often discussed the roles of women and family. And so that sometimes too, you would have them stealing women's ideas, stealing their creativity, their inspirations, and them getting credit for it. This was they did that a lot. That's what that Bible is about. Okay, they hijack women's spiritual wisdom and put themselves in it. Most of what you see in that Bible constructed, the foundation of it is coming from women that they rewrote. I know you don't want to hear that, but that's true. And it's the truth because when you go into Kabbalah, go into the occult, and you look at their sciences, they're trying to ascend to the highest, trying to ascend to the divine feminine because that's where all the knowledge, the insight, the wisdom, all of that is coming from the divine feminine. They're calling it Sophia in Kabbalah. And then in the occult, they went on to corrupt it. And what did they make it? They didn't want to make it quite a man. They made it a hermaphrodite with a beast head and all that stuff. Put wings on it and everything. And so you'll see a lot of men that goes into this, that they'll go into her. I see it every time. I saw Brother Panic when he did, and he be trying to get people into it. I said, brother, that's not where it said you are bound down to a corrupt form of femininity that y'all made up because y'all want to be feminine. Y'all want a womb. You made that up. That ain't supposed to even be like that. Okay? You'll see them go down. And again, who made this up? All of them, most of these occult sciences that's ran by men, they're gonna be coming. They're gonna have a hermetic foundation from the patriarchs. I know a lot of y'all don't want to hear that. Somebody was telling me the other day they was into Ifa. They was in the Ifa community and they saw the Baphomet in the Ifa community. So that shouldn't be in there. Ain't no reason for it. You got Oshun, you got Yemiya, you got Oya, you got Olakun. Why you got that in there? No reason for it. Okay. This is what these men are doing. They're using their people. They have these patriarchs going in here doing this work, and a lot of them, these patriarchs, are learning. These philosophers are learning from women. Where Plato devalues matter, Aristotle classifies it. He creates systems, categories, causes, hierarchies, definition. This is incredibly influential. Aristotle thought becomes the backbone of Western science and theology and law. And here's the key: feminine erasure embedded in Aristotle's biology and metaphysics. He explicitly taught that the male provides form and soul, while the female provides a passive matter. This is where they're getting this ideology from. But they're listening to women, and women, I'm not sure if women knew that they were hijacking, doing some hijacking going on. And we probably didn't give a damn because we too busy, got our own thing. And here he is, want to learn some stuff. And we, probably just telling them stuff and he writing it down. Don't know he writing it down in a way that put him at the top. This went on for thousands of years, them trying to get themselves together because they were highly jealous of women. People were coming to women for all sorts of seer service, all sorts of oracle services, all sorts of healing, uh, any type of, thing that you want to know about your body, how your body function, any education. They were coming to women because women had all that knowledge. After all, they were the one birthing humans. They knew more about humans than anyone else. What would a man know? He don't birth any humans. So what? Why would we go to him? We'd be going to some mothers who be birthing and knew everything about the science. That knew about the herbs. That knew about how the cosmology lines up with the herbs and what's the best time to plant things. They would know about the star sciences. They knew that because their body that lived in their bodies. There are at least somebody says there are at least maybe 100 different types of Gnosticism. Gnosticism only means gnosis, which means knowledge or direct experience. That's what they said that it means. That's what they said, but does it really mean that? Because if you really knew that, why you steady writing stuff down? Why you steady copying stuff from other people? They're claiming this, but yet you're learning from somebody else. If you already knew, why are you learning this from somebody else? The same thing with this. The hijacking started with these people. Okay, let's move on. When later theologians and occultists build doctrines and use Plato to spiritualize, Aristotle to legislate, Neoplatonism became a dominant philosophical ideology of the period, offering a comprehensive understanding of the universe and the individual human being, man, placed in it. So now they're putting man in it. You're going to hear them talk about Plato, Neoplatonism over and over and over again. Because this is the patriarchs, again, ancestor that started that. I don't care what color it is, they're going to pretty much go to that. Because that's what helped them set up all these religions and stuff and ideologies to hold them together. That really gave them the justification and the green light to get this going. Because they had meetings about this. Okay? And it's not a father. There is no father. There is no father. God is not a man. God is not a man. God has never been a man. God is not a man. If you still think that, then you done drunk the Kool-Aid. You with the hijacking. Okay? Okay? You with the hijacking if you think that. A central concept in Gnosticism is dualism. They put dualism in there. There was not dual. That's why you see that yin, yang in there, good, evil. There was none of that. There was just, we understood energy. You have energy because the first energy was here. What was the darkness? And then the light was created out of the darkness. You cannot have one without the other. Dark energy is raw creative energy. But here you have somebody coming in here hijacking and stealing stuff. So now what he's saying, he's calling it dualism, which divides existence into two realms, the material and spiritual. That was one and the same. We understand what we were spiritual beings having a physical experience. But what did he do? He separated. Why? Because he wants control over the material realm. Let's move on. Okay? Gnostics view the material world as imperfect or corrupt. They're viewing it like that. You know why they're viewing it like that? Because ain't nobody bound down to them. Ain't nobody giving them no attention. Ain't nobody doing that with them in the physical realm. So to them, in his mind, it is corrupt. Let me fix that. Because I need all eyes on me, not the divine feminine. Everybody focus on her, but I need it on me. Why would he think that? He's letting you know. But in the divine feminine sciences, we didn't look at that like that. But he finna get ready to corrupt it. And that's how he view it. If all eyes ain't on him, he ain't the center of everything. That's what's going on here. Gnostics did not do that. It was so many of them. And all of these men was fighting to be the center of the world. They're trying to take the place of the divine feminine. That's why you got all of them creating the religious. Now my God real. No, my God is real. No, my God is real. When really everybody knew in the word that God was a woman. And now you got them creating different, I'm right. No, he ain't right. I'm right. You got that going on. Creating confusion when you're going in here trying to hijack something. That's why everything jacked up now. Because they went in and did this. Okay? So again, the imperfect world contrasts with the higher spiritual realm, where true divine knowledge resides. Here we see that the Gnostics have created separation in their new theology. There was no dualism in the ancient world, no heaven or hell. There was no separation from spiritual or material world until the patriarchs corrupted the spiritual sciences of women. They came up with this. In ancient feminine cosmologies, wisdom was embodied. It lived in cycles of nature, in the womb, in midwifery, dreaming, death keeping, healing, and knowing when rather than just what wisdom was inseparable from life processes. It was not fouling, it was not defective, it did not need correction. When Sophia enters the Gnosticism narrative, something crucial changes. She becomes a cosmic figure who desires to create independently, who moves without a male counterpart, and whose active creation results in error, imbalance, and fragmentation. From her comes the Demiurge and the flawed material world. Even when the story is sympathetic to Sophia, the structure is clear. The feminine creates wrongly, and the consequences must be fixed through her higher masculine order or secret knowledge. So now, what he's saying here, you got a world without me in it, and I don't like that. That's what's going on there. You got a world where I'm not the center of it in it. You have created a world without me in it, and it is flawed without me being in it. Let me put myself in it. You're seeing it from a different perspective today. That's what's going on there. Because it wasn't flawed at first. And because she created the world, this is what's going on without you in it, without your permission, it's flawed. So let me go in and fix it for you. We're going to give you a savior. You know, that's where you see this Jesus coming in. We're going to give you a man to fix it for you. And she the one gave birth to the man. You see the twisting going on here? He's doing this. He's coming in with this interpretation. That's not how we interpreted that. It was a beautiful thing to be manifest in the physical realm. Because when everything was under the Great Mother, everyone was living in a homeostasis environment. You wasn't stressed out in mind, body, and spirit until he got a hold of it and wanted to try to run something. That's when he started wreaking havoc on humanity. Okay? That's what's going on there. The framing is not ancient feminine cosmology. That is patriarchal revisioning. That's what they did. God has been placed outside when God is on the inside. Put it on the outside of you now. In older goddess traditions, the feminine does not fall into matter. She becomes the matter. She knows that she's a God in the flesh. She knows that. Okay? Earth is not a mistake. Bodies are not prisons. Creation is not a lapse in judgment. It's none of that. But he done made it like that because you can, again, give birth to civilizations. You got all this going on without him. That's how he views that because he's not in it. Sophia is the so-called the era mirrors a familiar patriarchal story repeated across traditions. Woman reaches, woman errs, woman brings disorder, woman must be redeemed and guided back into alignment. And we didn't need your help at all. This is him saying he needs to control woman. This is him, seizing control over woman. That's what this is what this about. You ain't never seen it from that because you got somebody telling you, oh, they the one that know everything. Church don't like them. The church like them because without the church, without the Gnostics, the church stuff wouldn't work. Okay? That's how that gave them the green light to put all this regular stuff together. Okay. What's especially revealing is Sophia's sin is often creative autonomy. She acts without permission. How dare she do this without permission? Because he letting you know right out the bat by him saying that you did this by yourself without permission. But if she the only God and she the God, who she gonna ask permission from? Because it's only her. Who she asking for permission from? It's only her. So you see him trying to assert himself over the cosmic being, over this cosmic energy. She don't need permission to anybody. She's sovereign. She don't ask permission to anybody. It's only her. That don't even make no sense. You see what I'm saying? So you get a chance to look at this from a different perspective. Okay? She generates without hierarchy. That alone tells you what the story is policing. And notice how redemption works. Sophia is not restored through her own wisdom or through women's rights. She is restored through gnosis, knowledge delivered via revelation, teaching, or a masculine savior figure. So now he got to teach Sophia. He finna write this stuff on paper and teach Sophia. So who is she reading the paper that she's reading from? Who wrote that? I mean, it make sense. Okay. Make it make sense. It don't even make sense. She is the all-knowing. Everything is coming from her. So who she need permission from? That's the story they telling you. If she's the all-knowing, everything coming from her, why would she need permission from anyone to create anything? But this is how his mind is thinking. This is how he is interpreting it. Wisdom is removed from the body and relocated to text, passwords, initiations that's controlled by men. They remove that and start putting that in paper. That's what happened there. When men learn how to put stuff in paper and try to make rules and stuff, that's when stuff got raggedy. Because women didn't need to do that because, again, we had all this knowledge on the inside of us. But they had to come up with these occult organizations and fraternities and things like this to access this knowledge. Can he access wisdom? Only through the guidance of the Great Mother. They got this in their fancy books. They know this, but they don't want that. They get so upset and they'll start creating these counterfeit deities, these egregores. They'll start doing that. That's why you got the Baphomet and all that stuff in there. They start going down the Luciferian road. They want to do everything but bow down to the black woman. They're gonna avoid that with every. They will make up stuff. This is why I get raggedy. This is why he is the beast, declaring war on everybody, devouring like a crazy lion, a roaring lion, making war with everyone. This is what it is. This is him. Okay, it's what it is. You go see it for yourself. I ain't making it up. It's important that we take time to think about many of the patriarchs. We need to think about what these patriarchs write when it comes to history, spirituality, and humans, especially women. He has been programmed with false information. It is the same thing with racism. Sexism or genderism functions the same way. In fact, it is the first oppression that was perfected by patriarchs. They perfected sexism first. They did that first. When they found that worked, they said we have already put in place systemic sexism and genderism. Let's see if we can do that. That's worked so well. So now we done got greedy. So we're gonna be on top and put the black patriarchs on the bottom. So we're gonna make this about race. We're gonna do systemic racism. But first, they saw that systemic sexism, it was working so well. So why couldn't they do that? Systemic sexism was working where gender is working so well, and then they all get greedy. All these men get greedy, thinking they can run the world, and they fight among themselves. See, I don't think racism is a problem at all. I think that is a cover up for what's happening to us women. I don't think women generally. I think that's a made up thing that was pushed upon women so they can try to control stuff. Because I don't think women I mean, we have a commonality when you start looking at our history. We were already operating with each other. It wasn't about no race. Men made it about race, but with women, we understood that all of us came from a black woman. Women understood that globally. There was never a problem with that. That was understood. Okay. We never have a problem with it because we all met together. We all practiced our magic together. We all shared our herbs together. Women, we had a kinship. We had a whole queendom that we ran the whole planet on. So it was never a problem about race with us. That's why I said that's him. He made that up. And then they made it about that when they took control of us. Then they brainwashed us into their ideologies. I know some of y'all don't want to hear it like that, but it, you start listening to your great mother and listen to your intuition, the divine feminine within you. You know what I'm telling you is not false. Okay? It's not false. Women never had a problem with that. It's these men coming up with this. Okay? It's these men that's coming up with this stuff. Women are not coming up with this, women didn't make it about race. Men made that about race. These are man-made ideologies. Because they're trying to separate when women are we all that's why you'll see cultures and things and spirituality have a common thread and universal thread. Why? Because this knowledge lived in women. And it's all their religion came from women. They made it into a religion, but these are spiritual practices and customs and cultures that we shared with generations and taught them about spirituality and how they were connected to everything until they came in with their ideology and started ruining things. Okay? Okay? There can absolutely be a world without males. Mother Nature showing you right now because your Y chromosome is fading. You're going extinct. This is how I know something wrong with you because you won't sit down and learn about yourself. You'll repeat regurgitated garbage. You'll repeat and we sitting up here telling you in the science, in the genetics, biology, and you will still sit here. That's why I know something wrong with your brain. Females, the XX chromosome has been here since there's no beginning or end to her. When you are gone, XY chromosome, XX chromosome gonna be here. You can go extinct and you are going extinct. Females can exist without you. You ask yourself, do you want to sit around a whole bunch of males? Because we don't mind women, we don't mind sitting around each other. So you ask yourself, do you want to be sitting around a whole bunch of men? You probably gonna say no. We don't mind women, we don't mind sitting around each other. We don't have a problem with it. So just stop it with the hijacking. Okay? Okay? So you cannot in fact you're a woman before you even come a man. I believe that's some type of mutation or something wrong with that. I believe you're mutated. It ain't right. That's why that Y chromosome is going extinct. Okay? You can go look that up for yourself, not making it up. Okay, the patriarchs went on to set up a world that separated the people's mind from the divine feminine, nature, and the universe. This is where it gets interesting for me. Why? Why would patriarchs wage war against women and children? This shifting, this shifting and oppression went on at least thousands of years before they saw results. This went on thousands of years. That's why you see, in that Bible go on. It wasn't easy for them to do that because we knew where everyone come from. It takes a while to brainwash. You have to unalive a whole bunch of people. They unalived a whole bunch of elder women and a whole bunch of elders that knew that knowledge. And that's when you see them again. They're left with little girls and children to start mating with, restarting the civilization. And they want to do that again. That's why they want to make this messing with children okay. They want to make it a penalty. If you ain't had no child by 30, then you owe them some money. They want to make it okay. This is what they were doing in that Bible. You seen, if you go look at the Greeks, they used to have that thing with the Epstein. That's not new. You were seeing the Greeks. They had a little island like that. I forgot one of the Caesars. They had a whole island full of little boys where they again would be with little boys. This goes all the way back. This is nothing new. Okay, they want to put that back in effect again. This is what they've been working hard for. I know that's hard for you to believe, but this is who they are. And if you go back and look at the historical records, they have been doing children like this. When they came into power, this is what men was doing to women and children. What you thought that was happening, he got you thinking, got you focused on this Jesus that didn't die for somebody's sin. Ain't no man die for you. Let me see one doing it now. Ain't nobody putting their hands on that man, sitting him down, dying for us. Us women, we ready to go die about it. Oh, baby, ain't nobody gonna do it but no woman. A woman to die about hers. I ain't seen no man do it. Show it to me. Show it to me. Then put that raggedy lie up there, knowing you ain't gonna do that. Brainwashing us with this crap. That's all you doing. Ain't no man did that. Us women are ready to chop off heads. We ready to turn into a Cali. We ready to turn into a Lilith and chop off heads about this. While he running around, la la la, la la la, la la la, la la la, just another little day. We ain't nobody worried about them women and children. We're gonna keep on doing it, and we're gonna make it all right. This is what's happening. When we right now, now more than ever, we need some Cali energy. We need some Lilith energy. That's what we need. That's what we need to walk in right now. This is what's going on now. This is what he has done. Then when they got the results, after they did this now, then when they got the results that they wanted, they start getting the results that they want. They lost the sciences. They lost the purity of the sciences. They went in again. They went into a dark era. Darkness in the land which sparked among them greed, racism, famines, all that stuff happened. That when they dark ages and got all this knowledge, almost lost it. Yes, these are all patriarch choices. His design of order made in the image of his so-called God. This is what he did. There is no God on the outside of us that is bringing confusion on this planet. Okay? It's this one species, XY chromosome. Ain't no devil doing it. It's him. He the devil. You don't see that. He the devil that he speak of. That is the threat to this planet, women and children. This God that you hope for has been suppressed, but she is now resurrected. If it's ever going to be a God to come save you, it's probably going to be a woman. It ain't going to be no man. Ain't going to be no man to save the world. Ain't be no man to do the right thing. If he would have done it, he would have done it by now. If you think that's going to happen, that's not going to happen. He's telling you what he wanted right now to be. And a lot of men is going to go along with this. I just heard Britain have decided not to prosecute none of their people over there either. They say they ain't gonna send nobody to jail. They ain't gonna prosecute nothing. That's what Britain just said. If I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. And you see two places do that. How many of these other countries gonna fall in line with the raggedy stuff? The Gnostic text Barbello is described as a matrix of all animation, the space where divine thought becomes form. That is womb language. Okay? She is not a character acting in the story. She is the operating field of reality itself. Everything arises within her. That is the identical to how ancient goddess traditions understood the Great Mother, not as a ruler, but as a condition that allows existence. There's nothing to fly. You wouldn't even be able to enjoy a physical reality without the Great Mother. You wouldn't even, but now that you have a body and all of this, it's her fault because you here in the physical form. Now that's something ugly. It's sin to be in the flesh. See how they had to warp that? They had to have you born into sin. Because anyway, you born from the Great Mother. You born in the sin. They did that. Okay. Okay. But here is where it gets important. In older women centered cosmology, the matrix was not false. The world was not a prison. Matter was not a trap. The womb was sacred. The earth was alive. And embodiment was divine participation. The matrix was home. The earth was home. Mother Earth was home to us. But they're going to strip it from you because they're going to take ownership of it. And they're going to charge you to be on it. That's what happened here. That's what they're doing now. And if women want, again, we want to save this, we have to create a whole world civilization that's nature based, that goes back to the land, that doesn't participate in his economic structure. You got to come up with a whole system and just not participate. You can't vote your way out of this. You're going to have to do something revolutionary. Humans are going to have to do something, and not particularly women. Since we are the one teaching and raising children, we have to separate from among them. We have to separate from them. If you don't, you're gonna your our children mind and sons' minds that we have is gonna be raggedy like them. And I don't want to be bringing no more other men, raising no more other men up to be raggedy like them. Don't need no more influence because all they do is poison. They're gonna poison your sons and some of your daughters. That's what they do. They poison your sons. They make sure that he can't see. Give him a false perception of power, and there he go. He think he powerful. He that ain't him. So I recommend get among them. Get away from them. They put poison in the music, poison in the movies, it's just poison everywhere. So now we desensitized these folks and set up and told us they like doing atrocities to women and children, and we sitting up there like a deer stuck in the headlights. Everybody talking, but ain't nobody taking no action. And then they telling you, hey, we want to make this okay. Ain't nothing wrong with doing this to y'all. We want to be able to do this all the time. You don't see, there's nothing wrong with this. You'll get used to this. Yeah, don't be afraid. This is what we do. Okay. Once the matrix is lifted out of the earth and placed entirely in the transcendent realm of pleroma, the material world becomes suspect. The matrix below is framed as a copy, and an error and a deception often created without the full consent or presence of the true feminine source. This is where you start seeing the groundwork for later ideas of the reality as an illusion, body as a cage, and salvation as an escape. That narrative is inversion. The original feminine matrix creates life to be lived, to be reinterpreted. Matrix becomes something to wake up from. This is not accidental. So if you were learning from the divine spiritual sciences perspective, you would already know magic, you'll know your power, you'll know the strength of your mind, you would know all of this. So earth, you would have a more of an enriching experience here on earth. But you can't have that experience because raggedy people that stole the science and using it for raggedy stuff. They already told you, the CIA and all that, they are hiding all of the spiritual sciences that they're telling you, again, showing you where your mind can do certain things and how our energy can do certain things. Now, if we had a divine, if the great mother sciences were in control, you'd have had access to that. And that's why when I hear Bobby Hemmett and all them talking, they say, but if she gets back in control, it's going to be chaos. Shut your mouth because you don't know what you're talking about. If she's back in control, everybody has their sovereign and power. They will not be cut off from their divinity. You need to be quiet and shut up. That's why I say they don't need to be telling no story, because every time they tell a story, when she here, it's just complete chaos. And chaos is here on earth with you ruling it. So sit down and shut your mouth. I can't stand when they talk about the divine feminine, because they can't. It's something inside them. When it come out messed up and corrupt. And I like Bobby Hemming, but you need to shut up and sit down. You're not no woman. You ain't got no womb. You ain't gave no birth to no children. You don't have an experience of being a woman on this plane. You don't know what you're talking about. Stop trying to tell somebody else's story. Just be quiet. Hell, stop telling women's story, because you never tell it right. And when I see y'all do that, you'll go and put yourself in the middle again like you the huncho muncho, and you're not. You're just not. Just be quiet. And you women eat it up too, because some of y'all want to be you love men's attention. You love men's attention. Y'all eats it up. You're gonna get yourself in a nature boy situation. Keep that stuff up. You're gonna get yourself in a cult. They're the main ones that's a lead in cults. Hurting women and children. And y'all go right on over there thinking a man gonna. And then a woman try to lead you into something. They done got us brainwashed against each other. We try to hurt each other. We try to find something we don't like about the woman. We try to argue with each other. Women, we got our work to do with each other too. Because they done brought in the spiritual jealousy and all that stuff on us. Because all them spirits on them, they done put them on us. Can barely work together. But you better know what they working together. One thing they more organized than us, and they uphold each other raggedy stuff. That's why they got headway. You better open your eyes. They co-sign each other raggedy stuff. They ain't even got to know each other. They co-sign each other raggedy stuff. You ain't outsmarted, you out organized. You out socialized. Because they've already collectively agreed we're going to go against these women. No matter what. We're going to make them look like children. We're going to say they're emotional. They've all collectively agreed on that. As women, we ain't collectively agreed enough that they do raggedy stuff. We ain't got organized to keep them out the way they have gotten organized to keep us out. I don't believe in sharing power with them. I'm not, I think I'm beyond matriarchy. Somebody call it misandry, but I don't believe in sharing equal power with them. Do I believe in working with them? Yeah, but I don't believe in sharing power with them. They've just shown that they're not capable of being. They're not able to share power with anybody the way they're made up. It'll be a while. No, I don't believe it. Do I believe in working with them? Yep, but I don't believe in sharing power with them. That's dangerous for humanity to do that. They need to understand their nature. I think he'll agree when he look at his own self and stop looking at women and trying to justify the crap he do. Okay, that's just my opinion. I think it's enough evidence there to show that. I think it's enough evidence there for me to say that. Because of all the atrocities they've done to women and children and how long it's been going on, that is why I say that. I feel comfortable with saying that. It's very dangerous for women to share power with him. You can work with him, but you definitely cannot share power with him. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He just can't, he can't, because of the way his genes and stuff is set up, because he has predatory genes. Again, he is not going to, and he believes in self-preservation only. He's not going to miss the opportunity to mess that up, to make it about him. I think he can't help it. I'm just telling you that's in his nature. He already told you he the beast, okay? And why would you try to share power with somebody who's inferior to you that has constantly showed you what they're about? You already know that's not possible. Now, any woman think you can do that, that was our mistake. And I know we have sons, we have brothers, we have fathers. He's still a man. And if you sit down long enough and talk to him, he don't trust other men. They know about each other, okay? And if they really love you, they're gonna try to keep you away from that crazy man. They know how men are. They sit around and talk. They already know. Okay, I'll make this up. Talk to them. They don't trust each other. They know because they know how deeply disturbed some of them are. They know their psychology. They don't trust each other. Okay, but they all agree that they are not going to put women in power because that is their energy source. Why would they do that? Okay, this is not accidental. When patriarchy cannot destroy the room, it relabels it. The same general feel that once empowered women becomes rebranded as something dangerous, entrapping, or misleading. Women go from being portals of life to symbols of temptations, illusions, and material bondage. She is the true she is the true matrix before it was reframed as a false reality. So they're gonna tell you that this matrix is a false reality, is this, that. No, it's made from the matrix, from the great mother. So you can enjoy a physical reality, so you can have life and have it abundantly. But you can't have it abundantly because you got raggedy people distorting this physical realm with their raggedy stuff. You can't enjoy it because they trying to own it and they belong to them. They have made up money and all this stuff to keep you stripped from the natural resources. That's why you heard me talking about it. I talked about this on my other channel. You're going to have to flip the script and make this about living and not about money. So he had to create a counterfeit resource. That's counterfeit. You can't eat no money. You can't drink no money. That ain't gonna do nothing for you. If all the water is poison and all the food is gone, and you got $1 million in the bank account, how that's gonna help you? How that's gonna help you if all the food is gone and all the water is poison and you got $1 billion in the bank? How is that gonna help you? So you're gonna have to make it about living. You're gonna have to again get rid of that capitalism because that's what's messing you up. Y'all don't want to hear that. Women will have to go back to the land, get out that fashion, all them, you know, butt injection, all this crazy stuff. Because again, they promote this stuff so you can peacock to them. They got you focused on looks and all that stuff. When he looking raggedy over there, but he wants you to get dialed up for him, and he looking raggedy, but he got standards for how he wants you to look. And then you got some of them competing with us. Some of them some getting really sugary now, and can't nobody at them. You want to know more about how they is? Talk to a gay man. The gay man know how raggedy the XY chromosome is. He can tell you. They can't tell you how raggedy they are. Listen to them. They'll tell you how raggedy they are. Don't be mad at them because they know the psychology because they have had to figure out themselves. And again, they're living a divine feminine lifestyle. They have had to crack the code in their mind. They know themselves more deeply. They can understand the psychology of man more deeply. Talk to them, because most of the time, a gay man they're gonna let you know a lot of them, a lot of these men is playing games and they full of crap. Okay? They're gonna tell you, they're gonna give you the business. Okay? But they know they're in contact with their divine feminine. They know the psychology of these men. And it, you know, and people get, oh, it's so many gay people. Yeah, because the great mother is waking a lot of them up. She waking up all her children, wherever the way they may be. You may not even like it. But that's why you're seeing again, because again, this maternal energy, this divine feminine energy, again, is starting to grasp the planet again. It's trying to correct itself. And then the Y chromosome is fading at an accelerated rate. And so they're scrambling for their numbers. This ain't just about birth numbers as well. And two, there's too many men XY chromosomes on this planet. It's too dangerous. The world needs to go back into a homeostasis, and the XY chromosome is preventing that. And so Mother Nature will correct herself. She will automatically correct it. They've been knowing this for a long time. That's why they do what they do. They know that was not meant to be here for a long time. That's why, too, I heard another creator talking about this. I think, too, we need to be asking, too, how long uh, the XY chromosome been here on this planet. I firmly don't believe they come from here. I just believe that. Okay? I don't believe many of them come from here. I believe their genetics were heavily, uh, tampered with. That's just my belief. Just the way you act. Ain't no way you want to be pushing a button and blowing up stuff and hurting other people like that. And you're gonna be killing women and children. All of them got nuclear weapons now. They got nuclear weapons. They got nuclear weapons now. Who builds something like that and then get mad at each other? Say, I'm gonna push this button. Well, honey, you gonna push the button on all of us because you mad? And then you want to call women we're too emotional, but y'all are creating stuff. When y'all get mad, y'all want to push buttons and just end it off for everybody. Come on now, let's think about this. Who too emotional now? Who's unrealistic? Who's gone mad? That's right, boy. It's true nature. Okay, that's crazy. And then you want to give him leadership over you. You God. It's hard. It's crazy. We this is why we got mental illness, women, because we live in a crazy world that they created. That's why that's why the mental illness is here because it don't make sense. Okay, a lot of that mental illness is not just coming from racism; it's coming from patriarchy. Because y'all done built this on dark psychology, narcissism, psychopath, sociopathic behavior. Because that's what you have here. Fanaticism, all that crazy stuff that you got going on. You create that. That's what come when y'all come put y'all hands on stuff. That's what happens. When women were keepers of the matrix, it was the womb, the earth, the rhythm, and the community. When patriarchal systems took over the matrix, it became abstraction, system, prison, and simulation. Christ becomes a divine manifestation of man, mimicking women priesthood. That's what that's about. They setting up their priesthood through Christ when really it was the divine feminine. They had to shed his blood because he don't have no menstrual cycle. And again, you have him and the 12 disciples representing the 13 months and the 13 zodiac signs. And he's in a divine feminine position because now you got men bound down to him with their mouth open. Counterfeit hijacking happened right there. And if you was looked at from a divine feminine perspective, that's a coven with a whole bunch of men in it. That's the first Freemasonry right there, being born. Oh, they telling you something that they letting you know. It's a hijacking going on there. Okay? And what is the priest and what does the Pope do? He put on this dress. He's supposed to be now, even though this Jesus ain't the Pope supposed to be set up in the lineage, supposed to be in lineage in an acknowledgement of Jesus. But hey, this Jesus person can't be real because you couldn't get Jesus, so now it's set up through the lineage of Paul. Because Paul loved Peter because they was a real person. Now, if this Jesus was supposed to be the first priest and he actually lived here on earth, how come the priesthood ain't coming through him? See, these are made up stories. These are made up stories. It's not real. Okay? So you have this priest coming in here. So we're going to be just like the women. So we're going to have on all this stuff. We're going to move her out the throne. We're going to put this man here because before there was a pope, there was a priestess in the Vatican. That's why when you look in the tarot card and you look at the high priestess, she's dressed like the pope. That's the original where she's supposed to be. If anyone does the tarot card, go look at your high priestess card. She is dressed like the pope. He's got that from her. She's the original high priestess. And if you look at the Empress card, you're gonna see again a lot of the Pope symbolism in the Empress card. Ain't nothing coming from him, but a whole bunch of raggedy stuff. Okay, that's all that's gonna come from that. Christ was the new title that the patriarchs would claim as a spiritual authority over this world. But see, he couldn't have no authority if he wasn't coming from Mary. But they had to have that. The religion didn't work. They had to put that woman in there. They have to, or it's not gonna work. Nobody would have went along with that. Not even a little bit. Had a woman not been in there. Now, was people mad about that? People was mad. They said, okay, we're mad about them doing this, but guess what? We're not gonna pray to Jesus. We're gonna bow down to Mary. We're not gonna even talk to this Jesus. You got people that do that in church, in their Catholic church. And that was good enough from them because that what they really want to set up that God was a man and that she had this immaculate son. This is where this is coming from. Gonna make him a true person. When that story don't even go like that. Okay, but this is how they set this up. Okay? Again, these are stories to explain how patriarch took over spiritual sciences. In late antiquity, some variants of Gnosticism used the term archon to refer to several servants of the Demiurge. Now, I talked about that. We have people in here that do, again, they are, when you see in these occult lodges and things like this, when you look at Anton LaVey, or you're looking at, let me think of another one, Aleister Crowley and all this, these are people, what did they do? They go in and start writing different doctrines and things like this to have spiritual experiences. These are people that they got you thinking it's, it's some pie in the sky. No, these are people. These are people that's embodying this energy here on this earth plane. You're seeing it for yourself. Somebody said the spiritual sciences positive need to stay with patriarchs. You didn't invent it. You corrupted it. You made it raggedy. You made it grotesque like you're doing now. You don't understand it. So why would it stay? It don't even come from you. It don't even originally come from you. You wrote it down wrong from the first place. You corrupted it when you wrote it down. When y'all wrote this down, you corrupted it because you couldn't stand the fact that you wasn't in it. You don't have a womb. You don't have anything cosmically linked to the universe or nothing. You don't have any. That's not in you. If you experience any of that, that comes from us. It's not coming from any man. And that's a fact. It just doesn't come from you. Okay? No, it's XY chromosome. I don't even know why you would say that woman was raggedy and you seeing that man run around over there with a diaper on doing raggedy stuff. You seen the man with the e-files, Epstein, that he set all this stuff up. It's the audacity for me when I see men come out here, and these are dangerous men. You guys, they're in my comments right now. This person is fighting in my comments, um, trying to justify men raggedy behavior. These are dangerous. They do it right here in the open. That's even more shocking to me, to someone who is overtly racist. What is more should be more scary to you women when these men are overtly misogynist. Them kind of men right there, they don't mind hurting women, unaliving women and children. They try to justify their behavior. I just seen a video. This is so sad. The woman, the girl and her boyfriend had got into it. She got out of the car and took the baby. The baby was in the car seat. She got in the car out of the car and got the baby out of the car and kind of walked out off. The boy, her boyfriend, ran over his own child like it wasn't nothing and thought that he was supposed to go free. And was telling the men because of they so crazy and they give each other a pass on anything. He said, could y'all just talk to me? Can you just talk to me? Because I don't think I need to be going to jail. They said, we're talking to you now. But so they so used to letting each other off the hook and giving each other a pass on their stuff. That boy thought he was going to get that thing. I said, I told you they got a code with each other. They give each other passes on raggedy stuff. Okay? They give each other passes on raggedy stuff. That's why when you walking down the street and if you see a man can see another one, seeing a man beating a woman, he gonna pass right by and not say anything. You see when that woman was in that store, that boy, that woman punched that boy punched that woman in the mouth, and all them men was watching, and her son had to come back and draw down on that boy that punched her in the mouth. This happened about 2 or 3 years ago. All them men, there was men in there watching. But in their mind, she should have shut up because she a child. She supposed to do what that boy said. It doesn't matter if he's a young, raggedy young man or not. Men got control. You do what men say, it don't matter. And they fight for it. And they know they be raggedy. Okay, I got them in my comments now. Raggedy trying to justify something. Know that these men, they the number one predator of women and children. But honey, they'll fight too. Stay away from those men. Stay away from them. Because they'll justify doing something to you. Stay away from them. Okay? Stay away from them. Because I got them fighting in my comments. Right now. Right here on the YouTube. With my YouTube family. Fighting in the comments right now. They raggedy as they can be. No, they raggedy. No, they have a history of being raggedy. I mean, talking to them is trying to, it's almost like you talk to somebody who racist. It's the same thing, same kind of mind, same type programming. No, they raggedy. Okay, stay away from them. Okay, I wish he would just delete himself. And then they'll comment. You can tell something wrong with them because they'll fight in the comments with people. They'll try to again insult women and all that. They won't take ownership for accountability for their brother's behavior. They won't look at that. They'll start pointing at women and blaming women. That's what I'm seeing in my comments right now. Okay, this is how raggedy they is. Okay, now if you was such a leader and all that stuff, and you know you better than us, then go fix yourself. Don't sit your don't come in the comments arguing with me. Go make you a video showing that women are hurting men and children. Go make you a video. I want to see a video like that. The only one I'd seen do that, what was her name? Eileen. She was really a superhero. Because she was putting you men down. She knew you was raggedy, you was perverse, and all that stuff. Some of you need to be put down. Some of you rabid dogs, you don't want to hear that. Some of you rabid dogs, some women we got to carry weapons and things like that. Because some of y'all are rabid dogs. You out your mind. I know y'all don't want to hear that. Women can't even leave the house without a weapon. She can't even tell you no. She don't want your you can't have her number because y'all want to punch her and beat her up and stuff. Be scared to tell the man no. You got to give him a fake number or give him your number, then block him when he call. Cause you scared what he gonna do to you if you tell him no. And some women got to walk around here. We got to walk around here with a weapon on you, cause we don't know what kind of bag you're gonna come out of. And some of y'all need to be, because somebody out your mind, you act like a rabid dog. You don't want no sense. You want to control women. You got a lot of them now. They wanted a right to be able to hurt women and children. Me, what do you do to a rabid dog? You put it down. Your mind ain't no good no more if you think that's how they go. Because I tell you, I'm glad my daughters are grown. Because if that happened to me, if somebody putting their hands on my daughter like that, any man do that to my daughter or anything, I'm gonna put you down. I'm not gonna play with you. You're not gonna hurt mine. Every animal out there, if it's a female, she gonna protect her offspring. They are the most fierce protectors. And I promise you, women, if you have little children, be ready to put them down like a rabid dog if they start to protect your children, because something is wrong with them. Something wrong with them. Okay, don't even argue with them. Okay, some of them like that. You gonna have to be ready to put them down. And some of them are uncles, some of them are brothers, some of them are fathers. Okay, but you're gonna have to be ready to put them down. Because some of them are crazy, like the ones that you see now. Somebody need to put that man down. That man is a rabid dog. Ain't no good. Just a miscarried dog. That's all that is. Somebody should have been put that man down. I know you don't want to hear that, but that you ain't no good. You are you garbage. You don't bring any type of sustenance or substance to humanity. You are degenerating and regressing. You need to be put down that's what we do to rabid dogs that sit out and attack a human like that. We put them down. We don't want that dog. We don't want that animal there. We don't want to risk anyone getting hurt anymore. So we put that rabid dog down. It's gone in the mines. Nothing we can do. There's no rehabilitation there. Okay? That's just like a lioness. You walk up on her with her cubs, she gonna tear you up. She don't give a damn about what you got going on. If that lion, if he gets too rough with them cubs, them lion is gonna chase him out of there, or they will tear him apart. He ain't running nothing. No males in the animal kingdom is running nothing. Okay, you see it for yourself. Ain't nobody following no animals out there following their daddy in the animal kingdom. They following their mama. They following no raggedy man. No, even not in the animal kingdom. Okay? The demiurge is more of a consciousness that grew from the intelligence of men. It is the thought or ideology patriarchs have to this very day. They are separate from the woman or the divine feminine. They chose to separate themselves with their own flawed understanding of the original cosmic being. This is the first major shift. The knowledge moves from the participation to observation. The result of this effort was grandiose and powerfully persuasive system of thought that reflected upon the millennium of intellectual culture, brought the scientific and moral theories of Plato, Aristotle, and the ethics of the Stoics into fruitful dialogue with the literature, myth, and religious practice. in virtue of their inherited respect for the writings of many of their predecessors, because that's what they're doing. They're acknowledging their predecessors. They're acknowledging, that's why you're going to see them talk about all these philosophers and things like that. And most of them learn from women, and they ain't do nothing but hijack the story and made it about men. The Neoplatonists together offered a kind of meta discourse reflection on the sum total of ideas produced over centuries of sustained inquiry into the human condition. In priestess science, you knew the cosmos by living inside its rhythm. In Greek philosophy, you know the cosmos by standing apart and defining it. They did the same thing with the cosmology, which I'll probably have to do another video on there when I talk about the moon and astrology. So I'll probably talk about that another time. But again, even the cosmology that you see, they the one that needed to look out in the stars and look at everything. They the one that had to learn that by looking at the stars. Women didn't have that because we had the cosmos lived inside us. You are the cosmogenetic being. Why you got to be looking at the stars and stuff when, again, you're the cosmos walking in the flesh? He needs to study the stars and the movement, because he's going to be using this energy to practice his, let me say it again, his second rate occult religion, whatever he got going on. See, he got to study that, but you don't have to study that because you got this on the inside of you. You got a moon cycle. You know how everything move. He does not. So he got to look up in the sky and come up with the astrology. And when he's looking at the moon in the sky, you still looking at the divine feminine. You looking at her on the outside. And everything you looking in on the outside, she got on the inside of her. So you still studying her. So I don't know what you're doing. Even when you're looking at the stars, the moon, all that come from her. All of those things she has inside of her. And you couldn't get it. When you found out, okay, she got this on the inside of her. Okay, so we need to be looking at the sky. We need to be looking at these stars, because everything that's, again, in the sky, the celestials and all that, she has that in her. Can't say you don't got it because you got a moon cycle. You're in sync with it. You're in rhythm with it. He is not. That's why you even had some of them, they were so desperate to have a cycle, they would put a slit in their scrotum to act like they was having a cycle. That's why that circumcision coming in there. That's why that blood of Jesus coming in there. Your blood is sacred. That's why they had them drinking the blood of Jesus and all that. That's the kind of power that your womb have, your moon cycle have. In other times he would have been drinking that. Now you got him drinking children blood, and now you want to eat on children. But any other time you would have been drinking the blood of the great mother. You would have been drinking the blood of women. That would have been your sacrament. Oh yeah, it would have been. You don't want to hear that though. You don't want to hear that. That's what they're trying to replace. That's why they got circumcision. That's why, they done went to the extreme instead of doing it the right way that it was set up in our cosmology. Now you want to go to eating on children and doing blasphemous stuff against the great mother. Then you tell you that your moon cycle is what they say, it's evil, it's unclean. It's not any other time you would have been drinking it. That's what we was using to replenish the land. Okay? It's growing from our blood. You knew that though. That's why you made up all these crazy ass stories. Ain't no hatred for me. I love you. I want you to do better. I hate what you do. I hate what you do. I hate what you have become. That's what I hate. I hate the things that you do. I hate that you did those things to women and children. I hate your nature. I hate what you have become. I hate that you don't feel empathy for the things that you do. I hate that about you. I don't hate men. I hate what you do. I hate what you become. I hate the nature of you. I don't hate you at all. And you equate that because I don't like what you do, I hate you. Because I won't accept your raggedy shit. That's what you mean. I gotta hate you because I won't accept your raggedy stuff. This is your this is your thinking. This is their thinking. When you tell them you don't like the raggedy stuff they do, well, you hate me. Now, what you telling me, why don't you take me with my raggedy stuff? Let me be able to kill you and unalive you and abuse the children and stuff. I want you to love me while I'm raggedy. You don't love me then if you don't let me do this to you. This is what you saying with your raggedy self. This how you look. Please let me come over here and hurt you and beat you in your head and destroy your mental health and crumble your spirit. Please let me do that. How dare you not let me come over there and do raggedy stuff to you? You being evil to me. Okay, we got rid of him. Okay, we just got rid of him. Okay. You can't see the difference between her hatred and sexism. You probably need to look within. Okay. If y'all come in here, if you have me, just had somebody fighting in the comments about being raggedy. They know they raggedy, but this is what they mean. He don't look like they're so focused on what I'm saying about the raggedy stuff. I'm saying about them instead of looking at they see what's going on around there. Something got to be wrong with you. You see what's going on around here. You see what happened to who around here. Some of this happened even to children when these little boys they were little boys and now they're men and now they're scarred because these people that did something to them. I'm saying women and children, which includes little boys. Some of these little boys will be scarred forever because of some of these men. I'm hating the stuff that you do. And because I hate the things that you do, you guys were getting mad. That's how I know it ain't about that. You know what you're doing is wrong. You're mad because we won't accept that raggedy stuff. Okay? And I have to delete somebody else. I ban y'all put you out of here. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I put you out of here. I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. And this shouldn't be a back and forth thing, but I constantly have this back and forth things um, with men that jump in here. They don't want this to be tall. That's how I know something is wrong with you. I know something is wrong with you when you fighting these comments like this, and you see this stuff that has been happening to women and children, and what is going on now, and you say I'm spitting hatred. Y'all, you working on making women hate you when you do that. You're making what women hate you, not want to be bothered with you or nothing like that when you do that. You avoid of understanding, but say that you the most logical, understanding people on the planet, species on the planet, but you void of it when women start expressing your raggedy stuff. This is what you do, okay? That's what many of you do. The history of philosophy has often been presented as a predominantly male endeavor, dominated by figures such as Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Galileo. However, this narrative overlooks the significant, though often underappreciated, contribution of women who influenced the men and played vital roles in shaping the philosophical traditions. From ancient Greece to the Renaissance, women provided crucial knowledge, mentorship, and inspiration to many of the most celebrated male philosophers. Okay? So again, you're seeing these philosophers, they're learning all of this from women. I've just told you that. When knowledge becomes text, it can be owned, taught without initiation, and standardized. Greek philosophy thrives in writing. Priestess science was relational. It required lineage, land, body, and timing. Text-based knowledge doesn't. This allows men to inherit wisdom without being initiated into the womb-based cosmology that produced it. That's what they needed it. They came up with their own stuff. That's why they came out with these 12 months. But see, that doesn't really hold up either, because they wanted to have the mimic this the cosmology through Jesus and the 12 disciples. It's still Jesus and the 12 disciples. There's still 13 people there. And then that didn't work because you had to have Mary in that story. That story wouldn't have worked either without Mary Magdalene. That wouldn't have been able to, you know, really mesh with people without having a woman in there. They have to have a woman in there somewhere. They don't want to. They don't do it because they want to. They do it because they have no other choice. Okay? They do it because they have no other choice. That's why they're doing it. Okay? Then comes Aristotle, and here replacement comes explicit. Aristotle doesn't just abstract knowledge, he redefines nature itself. His biology teaches that women are passive matter and men are active form. This is not a neutral theory, it is a philosophical justification for removing women from knowledge production. Once that idea takes hold, priestess science is no longer seen as legitimate science at all. It becomes folklore, midwifery, witchcraft. And you know what happened when they did that? When they said, "Oh, our stuff. Now that we got our stuff in line, we got a Bible, we got this, and we got that. Everything she does, we're gonna say it's witchcraft. If we catch her doing anything that gives her spiritual authority or power, we are going to unalive her." And what happened? What the church started doing to us? We're gonna render it pagan. We catch her doing, and if she got too much land, and if she too rich and she ain't got no man, we're gonna deem her a witch. And we're gonna unalive her and take all her money and take her land and all that. That's what started happening. Because women had a lot of the land. Matter of fact, when we were in those roles, we ruled a lot of the earth. A lot of men didn't own land. Women owned the land. That's why you got them fighting for these different places and all that stuff. Overthrowing lands and things like that. The works of other women philosophers from the Hellenistic period, such as Hypatia, and they unalived her. They unalived her. You got a whole bunch of Christian fanatics that just unalived her. I already talked about that. Okay? They didn't want women in those roles. And again, she was a mathematician and an astronomer. What Christianity does is radically alter the meaning of this cycle. Instead of death being part of life's rhythm, death becomes a moral problem. Instead of rebirth being a communal ongoing, it becomes a one-time event monopolized by a male savior. Instead of earth receiving blood to renew life, the blood is lifted off the land and spiritualized. Because any other time the blood would be on the land, it would be coming from the women. But now you done made it where a man, I just told you that, shed his blood for everybody's sin. He don't give birth to nobody. And now we bound down to him. And now you got men bound down to him with their mouth open. And then they wonder why they are emotionally gay. Or they have more affection for men than they do women. I know you don't want to hear this, but it's true. Okay? Nobody wants to hear it. Instead of earth receiving the blood to renew life, The blood is lifted off the land and spiritualized. This is where the hijacking occurs, not by inventing something new, but by changing what the symbols mean. That's what y'all did. You changed it, try to change the meaning of the cross. You try to change all this stuff. Okay? Christianity freezes that intersection into suffering. The body is nailed. Body is drained. The blood is drained. The earth is no longer a partner in the backdrop. The cross becomes a place of punishment instead of creation. What was once a symbol of entry into life becomes a symbol of escape from life. Because y'all focus on this death all the time. You don't focus on this life. Is that this religion y'all get is Saturn based. It's based on suffering. It's based on control. Okay, a lot of this stuff that y'all got going on it's not even balanced. That is profound inversion. And again, notice who loses the power here. When the sacred intersection is no longer womb-like but punitive, women's bodies where that intersection actually occurs become spiritually a suspect. Your body, they don't even want your body in the mix of it now. Your body is seduction, is evil. It ain't got no place in it. His intelligence is the only divine thing that's got going on. Now the blood ritual, because this is where your intuition is especially sharp. When women are going through their moon cycle, this is when your intuitive is the strongest. And I've heard a lot of women notice that when you're going through your moon cycle, this is when your intuition is the most sharpest and when you have access to a lot of divine power. They know this. Okay. In ancient feminine rites, bloods was cyclical, regenerate, and sovereign. It flowed without death. It marked time. It connected women to the moon, the ancestors, and the land. It did not need permission. It did not require violence. It It did not demand belief. You were seeing it right there in your for yourself. And see, with their religion, they need you to believe in this pie in the sky stuff. But if you was following the great mother, you'd have understood the signs from the material to the spiritual. You'd have had access to your pineal gland, the spiritual world, and all your psychic abilities. You would have had that by birthright. You'd have already inherited that. They wouldn't have been separated, and it wouldn't have been called evil or none of that. You'd have understood those metaphysical sciences. But what did he do? Hijack it and try to make it into something else and keep it away from you. But if you were again following the divine feminine, you'd have known all how your mind, how strong your mind was, how to work with your intuition, how to work with your moon cycle. You'd have learned all that. But he cut us away from all of that because he was jealous. Okay? That's what that boy, that's why they're getting these comments and start with the insanity stuff. Now you accusing me of hate, but I have not abused women and children. I'm not unaliving women and children. But you saying I hate men. Oh my God. Woo wee. I'm not unaliving women and children on the mass scale, but they jumping in my comments and telling me I hate men, yet you seeing the statistics and numbers of your folks doing this and have their comments and say I hate men. Them the ones that I say they do like they're just playing on them the ones that you're gonna have to put down like a rabid dog because they don't want no understanding. They want to be able to do anything to you, whatever to you without you saying anything. You don't have to look at it like that. You just gonna have to live all of them like that now. But you got some of them like that, and that's why you have a lot of these men that don't trust them because they know it's a lot of them like that. They know that. That's why they don't trust them because a lot of men know a lot of them like that. Okay, they can some of them can't be fixed. They cannot be fixed. You're gonna have to look at that too. Some of them are not trying to ascend. They're not trying to do that. And then when they call themselves trying to ascend into this cult, they veer off. You see it every time. They veer off into Luciferian stuff. That's still Hermeticism. That's still You're still avoiding divine feminine for something that's been hijacked from the divine feminine. You got this beast looking thing with breasts and all this sort of stuff. That's not the great mother. That's not it. I know what they told you. That's not it. There's some more hijacking going on. That ain't. There's some more counterfeit. Okay, some more deception. That's all it is. And you see, they got so many. They have created so much of blasphemy. They got different ones that you can choose from. What blasphemy you like? Which one you like the most. That's the one you can rock with. It doesn't matter as long as you can go against the Great Mother. That's all that matter. All of them go against the Great Mother. You just got to choose one. That's how their cult is set up. All of it's a blasphemy against the Great Mother. All of them. They don't matter. No matter which religion or something you choose, because all of them is blasphemy against the Great Mother, against the real God. Whether it's, you can go with Yod both. They got the Yod both over there, Moloch, Baal, Lucifer, Satan. All of it's Hermeticism. It's some regular stuff they set up. That's where it's coming from. They just got options on how rotten they want to be and which rotten path they want to take. But as long as you degrading and suppressing the divine feminine, all this is kosher. This is all kosher. Just keep doing what you're doing to women and children. Doesn't matter. This is your path. But we all agree we're going to keep our foot on this woman's neck. And we're going to drain her dry. Her and her children. We're going to seep all the energy out of them. We're even going to go so far as we're going to eat them. Okay? This is what's going on here. The Christianity replaces the male blood that only becomes sacred through death. And then it's ritualized as consumption. Drink my blood. This mirrors an older communion rites, but strip female embodiment and cyclical return. The priest controls access. The ritual is symbolic rather than vertical. And the blood is no longer something women carry. It is something believers must receive from male authority. Okay? Throughout Christianity history, women repeatedly re-embodied what the institution abstracted. Okay? Hildegard of Bingen spoke of the divine greenness and cosmic fertility and earth wisdom that sounded far more like ancient goddess cosmology than church doctrine. Julian of Norwich openly described Christ as the mother breastfeeding souls, birthing salvation through compassion rather than punishment. Medieval women, mystics, experienced bleeding visions, bodily ecstasy, and union that bypassed priestly mediation entirely. So women were constantly going through these stigmatas. They were constantly having these mystical experiences with the Great Mother. This was common among women. We even had temples to go through these spiritual metamorphosis. Because sometimes when a lot of us going through our moon cycle, we get a lot of psychic information that comes through. That's when our psychic energy is the most powerful, is during our moon cycle. Because we are more linked again with cosmology. They were not. Okay? Because what they were doing, let me go back up here. And what happened to them? They were tolerated only when they were controllable. And when they weren't, they were silenced, reinterpreted, or declared heretical. So they didn't want these women talking. And if these women were talking, they had to have men overseers, because what they were doing, whether consciously or not, was returning divine power to the body. So here's the synthesis of everything we noticed, okay? They wanted blood without women. They wanted birth without wombs. They wanted resurrection without cycles. And they wanted salvation without earth. All this is taking you, disconnecting you from the earth, and got you worshiping a man. Everything man, 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 man. And this big pie at the sky, God. God is now so far away from you. God, yes, far away from him because he don't embody any of those traits. That's his story. That's not the story of the X chromosome. He could have contact with this God if he would put the divine feminine back where she belonged, but he don't want that. He want this God so far away from him, and then he want to declare himself as God. Okay? And Jesus, again, is a symbol. He's a symbol of the patriarchs, of the priest king replacement. He becomes the only mediator. uh the final sacrifice, because that's their blood offering there. They're replacing the moon cycle there. Okay, so that is what's going on. So when you see these Gnostics that you're telling you everything come from Gnosticism, stop, pump the brakes, go look at what they were doing. We get told the story and we just run with it. But you have your books there, if you're in our community, I've given you the books there. You go look through it, because they're playing with words, and that's what patriarchs do. They're really good at playing with words. Okay, they're good with manipulating word, transferring things. That's why they looked at Thoth, they looked at Hermeticism, because that was the first, again, patriarch that taught them how to manipulate words, how to use mind manipulation. This is where the age of reason was born. But you're using your mind to create deception and not truth. And Thoth helped them do that. Hermeticism helped them do that. You go back and look at what they're saying. Listen to what they're saying. That's why I say I don't think a lot of people comprehend what they read. You're listening to what people telling you what it is, instead of when you go in there and look at it, you're not comprehending what you're reading. And two, it is good to go in there with an objective type of thinking and not a subjective type of thinking. Not with, I'm going to take everything in here and do what it say. Instead of saying, let me see what's in here that resonate with me. Now, I don't like that. I'm not jiving with it. I don't care what they're talking about. This just don't seem right. Most of us don't go in with uh, sub, objective thinking, because we have been taught to do subjective learning, because they teach that in religion. We don't want you questioning anything. We don't need you to have an object. We need you to take all of what we're saying as true and do everything we're saying. Okay, that's how they do their religion. Instead of you doing your critical thinking and say, "Hey, man, this don't jive right with me. This ain't working right." They don't want you to have that in there. Okay, but you have, again, the mental capacity now to go in there with more critical thinking, and when you read some, go in there with the objective mind, not a subjective mind, because they write these things in a way for you to have a subjective mind, and you can just swallow and eat up everything they saying. I don't recommend that, because that's how they get you drinking the Kool-Aid and they start brainwashing you. I don't recommend that for you at all, because that's what's going to happen there. And now you got a whole bunch of brainwashed people that think it's something that's coming out the sky to save them. And that's not going to happen. Or they think a man going to do it. And there's absolutely no empirical truth that they're going to do that. It's totally the opposite. They're not going to do that. They've shown you that over and over again. Am I bashing them? No, we love. Most of us, we love men. We just don't want your raggedy stuff. If we can take the raggedy out of you, yeah, we'll want you. But because you want to keep the raggedy, you want us to accept the raggedy, we don't want to be bothered with you. You can't get mad at that. We ask you so much to fix yourself, to get you some help, to work on your empathy. We done ask you over and over again. And you don't want to do it. Okay? Nobody hates you. We hate the raggedy stuff you do. That's what we don't like. And then we call you out on it, we hate you. And in my mind, when you're telling me that, this is what I think you're saying. Oh, how dare you not take my raggedy stuff? How dare you not let me abuse you? How dare you won't accept my rag? This is what I think. That's what it looked like to me when you're saying that. I don't know if it looked like that to other women, but that's how I take that. Instead of you fixing the behavior and being your brother's keeper, because y'all be each other keeper when you're doing raggedy stuff, do be each other keeper when you're when it's time to fix each other. Okay? Now y'all been you, but that's not even working no more. I don't think that's working. Y'all trying to call women haters and all that stuff. I don't think that's working for you anymore. You really look desperate. So every time you saying that to women, women take that as him saying, "I'm not gonna fix myself. I want to be able to hurt you, and I want you to like it." That's what he's saying. Okay. So again, you're going to get this full thing. All this knowledge is going, and I break this down in our community. We do have, we have an organization on Patreon that's called Cosmic Mother Ministry, where we talk about all things divine feminine, where I break down and bring all the divine feminine spirituality that's been hidden away from us. I bring that to the forefront. Okay, so we focus on women's spirituality and on women issues over there, and we begin to understand our spiritual science for women by women, and we get to talk about subjects and topics that we care about and build over there for women by women to build, rebuild. Because we're going to have to do it, because he ain't going to do it. And we damn sure ain't going to do it by trying to go up in their system and infiltrate it. You're going to have to do it by getting the hell away from them and creating a whole different reality, not a reality, a whole different society away from them to protect women and children, because they've already said they're not going to do it. So stop trying to go up in there and thinking that you're going to become the first woman president. You're going to become the first woman. They have subjected all them women up in there. They have been subjected. They have been compromised. So don't even think about it. I don't recommend you think about it. I can't even see my comments no more. Can I put it back over there? Let me see. I can't even. Oh, is it right there? Oh, now it come back up. Okay. That's all they've been doing. They've been brainwashing us into this. And women, it's so time because this 2026 plan that they have going on for us, and they keeping us distracted with other stuff. And they know what they're doing with the files. I pray all the time to the Great Mother, because I've left the Americas. I can't be over there. I seen the writing on the walls. I seen where it's coming, and the ancestors already showed me what they're getting ready to do. You need to be in community building so much right now. Building, building, building. Women, you need to be out of men faces and be building something. It's over there. It's under Cosmic Mother Ministries. I got people in the chat right now, so it's over there. I don't know what to say, but if you can't find it. Did you go to my profile? Maybe it's in my profile on TikTok. Maybe you can go over there that way. I'm not sure if I have it over there or not. Okay. Until these men get together, and men, you're gonna miss out. You're gonna miss out. Now, is there men that the men that's doing the work and all them the one that's gonna be getting all the coochie? The men that's doing the work, that's the real protector. And I don't think women mind sharing, as long as if he is of quality of stature and he's protecting women. I don't think women have that hang up. As long as he of quality stature. These the men that's probably gonna be getting all the coochie. You're gonna be sitting on the outside of the club looking in. You're gonna be jealous. Okay? The men that's actually doing the work, and that's actually fighting to put a woman back at God's status, them the one that's gonna be getting the nookie. They're gonna be getting the yoni. There's gonna be very few of them. They're gonna be in heaven. They're gonna constantly get sweet water, and you're gonna be cut off. You're gonna be cut off. Because it's men out there that's doing the work. They fighting as hard as we are. They not gonna cut off their yoni. They not gonna cut off their sweet waters. They know how sweet it is. They not gonna play with you. Them the ones that gonna be getting all the nookie. They're gonna be getting all the yoni and a lot of it. Because women gonna be willing to give it to them because they're gonna be excellent protectors. Okay, they're not gonna go extinct. Them are gonna be the ones that's gonna be raising our healthy little boys and training our healthy little boys to protect women, not you. Those are gonna be the alpha males for us. It's some out there that's protected. They fighting just as hard as us. And you're going to be on the outside of this looking in. And they're going to be, again, putting you down every time you try to put your hands on us. This ain't going to, because there's some out there that's trying to protect. Not many, but it's some. They're not going to cut off their sweet water because you ragging it. A lot of them ain't going to do that for you. Okay? Is all men like that? Not all of them like that. Some of them, I've seen some of them fighting just as hard as us, trying to wake up you knuckleheads. They're fighting just as hard as us. They know it. And they're not finna compromise their relationship that they value with women for you. Okay? There's some out there like that. They right along with us calling out your raggedy behavior. Y'all say they simps. They caking. They pandering. Because you brainwashed. But you calling them simps. You calling them pandering. And they showing you the facts of the matter, putting it right there in your face so you can see it, but you don't want to see it. You drunk on egoism. Okay? You want to be able to hurt women and children. You're sadistic. You're a psychopathic. You're a sociopath. And that this man that made it okay for you to be raggedy in the mind. Okay, now you can take that, you can do what you will with that. I don't care. And I know I don't hate men. I know there's some beautiful, loving men out there that the great mother didn't put she didn't put her spirit in these men, and they out here singing it just as much as I am. They're telling you the truth. They're doing their part too. Them the ones are probably going to be teaching the newer generation of men, because we don't need you no more, because you ain't doing them but programming these men to be raggedy. That's all you're doing. And you think you're alpha male when you're a sociopathic, sadistic, mad dog. And I know all men are not like that. I know they're not. But the ones that's like that, hit dog or holler because you get in my comments and you go to hollering. And I know. It lets me know something wrong with you, something the matter with you. Okay? All right. So I went over this. If you're interested in our community, I got 2 communities here. For those of the men, because you know I have a society. Again, I have a platform called Cosmic Mother Ministries on Patreon that's just for women, by women, where we talk about women issues, where we talk about our spiritual sciences, trying to gain that back and get a grounded practice in who we are. Then I have a hoodoo community, spiritual roots hoodoo community, where men are welcome. And I break that down over there too. I take out the misogyny. I go show you where all of this coming from the divine feminine in our hoodoo community. Okay, so I take out a lot of the hijacking and decolonization in some of the in a lot of the issues in some of our resources. So I break it down over there too. So if you're interested in hoodoo, and again, if you're a person of color, you're interested in hoodoo, get over there to our community, Spiritual Roots Hoodoo community. Some of you guys are watching this live stream right now. Okay, if you're a guy, you can't be in our Cosmic Mother Ministries platform, but you're welcome to come to our Spiritual Roots Hoodoo community. again, where I break everything down over there, the misogyny and all that, because my community get a chance to see this too. I don't, I'm taking the hijacking out of it. I don't think I don't think enough people are doing that. Okay. All right, you guys. Thank you for being here with me tonight. And I will try to come back. I don't know when I'm going to come back, but I know I need to come back here and talk about astrology from a divine feminine perspective, especially when it comes to the moon. I I've already covered that in my other community, but I don't think I've covered it in the Cosmic Mother Ministries. Okay, but that is the next thing I'm coming back to go back into the cosmology of the divine feminine and kind of break that down from a moon lunar perspective and show you how things got hijacked. Okay. All right, you guys. Love you guys. I hope to talk to you soon. Be waiting for my next live because I think we're going to be talking about the cosmology next, the astrology from a divine feminine perspective.